Hi, my name is Myriam Braunschvig, and I'm going to tell you a little story, a little evocation of a memory of Shabbat. My grandmother, Simi Naon, came from Tangier, Morocco. Her mother, Estrella, was called in the tradition Hermana Esther la Tzadika because she was known for being some sort of a special woman. In the time of rampant cholera in Tangier, the story says that she was nursing her newborn, and at dusk, she would go to the quarters where the mothers with cholera were lying, and she would nurse the children, the babies, who didn't have a mother at that time. That was Esther, Hermana Esther. Now, her daughter, Simi, my grandmother, was a very exceptional woman. She came to New York on her own, and the man who was madly in love with her, Chaim Toledano, followed her. So Simcha married Chaim. And that was the beginning of a long and beautiful love story between Simi and Chaim. Simi was the bird, Chaim was the tree. Simi was the one who sang and brought beauty into a simple home, and Chaim was the one coming from a long tradition of rabbis, he moving away from there, but still using his mind, translating text in Esperanto because he believed in a better world. And I was Miriamita, the little granddaughter who loved listening to stories. And my grandmother would tell me stories again and again of this mythical Tangier that I only imagined. Her voice was light, bright, and shiny. And very often I would come home in the dark apartment, but happy one, and I'd hear her voice far away singing, Dame tu mano, paloma, abre tu puerta cerrada. And I knew she was there, and I knew she would tell me more stories. And I knew also that by the end of the week, we'd be preparing for Shabbat. Now, preparing for Shabbat started on the Thursday, and we were getting ready to meet La Reina, the queen. Now, this queen I never saw, but we were preparing for her. And the preparation started when I came back from school on Thursday, and my grandmother was already in the kitchen, and the aroma was already filling the air of the apartment. Aromas of cumin seed and cinnamon and nutmeg. Everything was becoming fragrant. And in the middle of the day, when I came home after she had given me a snack, maybe some pescado en escabeche, some fish marinated in lemon and cumin seed, she would tell me, okay, Miriamita, now is the time to prepare. And we'd go in the kitchen, and she would take the kitchen clock, and she would say, now, Miriamita, you don't move. And she would start moving away from the kitchen, step by step, and she would say, do you hear it? And I would say, yes, Grandma, I hear it. And she would go further back. Do you still hear the clock? Yes, Grandma, I hear it. And she would move back and back and back until I would only hear a very faint noise of the ticking of the clock. And she would say, good, that's a progress. That's how you learn how to hear. And every time I would hear a little further, I felt I was getting closer and closer to something very secret, the ability to hear from a distance. And that would be my preparation, and she would come back and would congratulate me, saying, you see, you went a little further today. I went almost to the living room, and I was very happy. And the next day was Friday, and when I came back from school, the aromas were even more potent, and the fish was ready, and the small meatballs were ready, and everything was getting ready, and we put the tablecloth, and everything was ready. And then she's saying, now we're getting ready for La Reina. La Reina, I would think. Now, where is this Queen of the Sabbath? Every Friday, I would wonder, how come I don't see her? And it's so clear that she's here. So I would go on with my work, and I would help my grandmother, and we'd set the table, and everything would be ready, and my uncles would come, and everybody would be settled down. And my grandfather would come in after his long week of translating into Esperanto, and he would stand tall and dignified and ready. And he would take the cup in his hand, and he would lift it, Baruch atah Adonai, in a voice that was a little shaky at the beginning. Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagefen. Amen, we all said. And I looked at my grandmother, and the radiance on her face and her smile filled the room. And then I knew the Queen of the Sabbath had arrived. And I could settle down in my seat, and everything became quiet because everything was illuminated. I knew that I was in my place, in my home. And this color, this sound, this fragrance has become my Mishkan, something that I've taken with me wherever I went, in dark times, in bright times. There was always with me this intangible, this present that my grandmother gave me, this present of light and simplicity. And whenever I need to figure something out, her voice comes back and makes everything simple, everything radiant.